so they're not leaning against the chair or whatever that they're in, you know, whenever possible. And then you want to get down and even with them, right? And then the least work that they need to do is usually the better, but it depends on the person. You can ask them to raise their arms up while you put it on. This is obviously way too big for him, right? So we're going to tighten that up. And you tighten it up in a way that it's not so tight that they can't breathe. So they kind of say that you should be able to get kind of your hand in there, right? Because you need to be able to grip that belt. So it needs to be, you know, roughly there. Now, this is a big long string that's going to get tripped on and whatever else, right? So you want to tuck that or do something with that so it's not in the way, right? So I'll usually, well, most gait belts aren't that long, but I'll usually do some kind of like a little loop, and then I'll tuck it somewhere on the side. Right, so that's no longer in their way or in my way, right? So, you know, get the gait belt on, usually around like lower ribs. If it's a really busty woman, you got to be careful about where you're going with that. If it's somebody that's really obese, same thing, like get it where you can. Sometimes if they're really, really obese down here, then you want it up under their armpits, because that's actually, instead of being the widest point, it's the narrowest point on their body, right? So you may need to come all the way up there for that as well. Right, depending on their ability, you can ask them to scoot forward toward the front edge of the chair, right, whatever they're capable of doing there. So you got a couple different options with the gait belt. Again, if it's standby assist versus minimal assist versus moderate assist, okay? So we're going to say this is a minimal assist, that he's capable, for the most part, of standing up, but sometimes his knee gives out, or, you know, something like that, so he needs a little bit of help, right? So there's a couple different ways you can do it. You want to block their knee and their foot, making sure that they have proper footwear on. So blocking their foot and their knee with your body here, and then you get in so that you're in a good position with them, right? So that you've got access here with that belt, right? So that's more if you're pretty confident, and you're going to be on their weaker side if they have a weaker side, right? So you can go here, and you can say, okay, Ryan, we're going to stand up, okay? And we're going to go on 3, and you're going to lean forward and then push through those legs, right? Ready? 1, 2, 3, up, right? And so I use my knee to block his weak leg, make sure he doesn't buckle. You feel okay right here? Yeah. You got it? Okay, and then stand by it, right? He's wanting to go. Right? Okay, so, right. So he needs a little bit more help. So I'm going to change what I would do for him, right? So go ahead and sit back down. Okay, so if it's somebody that's moderate or max assist, you're going to come from, I think you come from the front. That's usually what I say. But again, you block their weak side, whatever that is, right? Ryan, you're going to put your hands over my shoulders, right? You're going to lean forward for me if you can. Okay, and on 3, you're going to stand up, okay? All right. You're going to go 1, 2, 3. And he's a lot taller than me. That's what the gait belt is helpful for that, right? How do you feel? Are you okay? Yep. Can you push with your legs a little bit more? Yep. And squeeze your butt. There you go. Right? So then now he's up. There you are. Right? And I can, if I need to, pull a walker or a wheelchair, whatever I'm doing there. Right? Go ahead and then to sit back down, you do the kind of the same. You squat with them and you use the gait belt to lower them, but always protecting that weaker side so that their foot won't slip, their knee doesn't buckle, that kind of thing.
That looked scary, like he could have just kept leaning.
Leaning, falling over me. Yeah. Yeah, he could have. Yeah. So some of the things that you want to do with your body weight, right? Like once he was up, I moved this foot back. So right? So I have some leverage there as well.
If I went down completely, if I'm bigger than you, then you could have just like assisted me to the floor.
Lowered to the floor. That's exactly right. Yeah, I didn't really do much work. Right? It's heavier than me, so I had to do some work, but I wasn't like I was using my arms to do that, right? So it wasn't a lot of work. And sometimes too, you might want them to grab you a little bit better, right? And sometimes they will because they're scared. I'm falling, and they're trying to hug you a little bit too, right? So you have a question for me?
5 minutes or so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's kind of gait belt transferring things, right? So now we want to do like a pivot. So we're going to transfer him from that seat into, let's say, the wheelchair. Okay, If this is his weaker side, does it make sense to be on his weaker side? No, you would want to be on his stronger side. For the sake of the setup of this room, this is now his stronger side.
There you go.
Right?
Alright.
So you want to be there. You want to, when possible, you want to try to get these, the legs, the foot rests and the leg things out of the way. Right? You want to come in as close as you can. And then I always make sure the brakes are on. And in this wheelchair, you got to turn the brake on, and it blocks a little bit the, there you go. Make sure that the chair is all the way flat. It's not going to go anywhere, right? Arms aren't going to fall over or whatever, right? Okay, so this is the stronger side. I'm going to block his weaker side. Okay, Ryan, we're going to move into the wheelchair so that we can go down the hallway, right? Okay, so I'm going to have you scoot toward the front of the chair if they're able, right? We're going to stand, then we're going to pivot and turn, and then you're going to sit. Okay, I need you to do all the work that you can do, right? You're going to use your legs, squeeze that butt, right? And you're going to get yourself over there as best we can, okay? So I'm going to block your leg right here. You can hug me if you want to there. One or two hands. On three, we're going to stand up. And then we're going to turn and face toward me, okay? We're going to go 1, 2, 3. Stand, right? Okay, he's something. I was not prepared for a max assist.
Okay. Oh, okay. There you go. I wasn't sure.
He's being a really good patient here.
Right.
I have him now. Like I'm pretty stable right here. You're gonna turn toward me. You're gonna shift your feet a little bit. There you go. Yep. Okay. And now we have that chair directly behind you. We're gonna slowly lower. So you're gonna bend at the waist and bring that butt down.
Wow.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, I was blocking there and kind of using my body weight.
Yeah.
There. Yeah.
All right.
And now you're in there. Okay. Okay. Then, can you scoot your butt back in that chair at all?
All right.
Nice job. Yep.
Yeah.
We're gonna put your feet on here.
You don't know how hard that part is that if they've if like they can't move themselves, like how to like shift them back. Can I like push? Sometimes I've pushed push their knee, like if I have them like lean that side.
Right.
Push
well, let's talk about that
back.
for a second. Go ahead and step off of here.
Like if they're
right,
forward,
if they're
and
here
they're like,
and you're slumpy,
they can't do anything, you know.
That's right. So
And
you can kind of lean them forward a little bit, and you can kind of push from your knees onto their knees.
Oh, okay.
And slide back that way, right? Or you can get down here. If you don't need to if you don't need to support their upper body, you can get down here and you can push their butt back. Or even easier is if they're on a sheet, a blanket, or a plastic bag.
Oh, yeah, like a bag.
You can just slide their butt right back in there, right? Okay. Go ahead and stand up.
So actually, like you put something down first. Okay.
Yeah. This wouldn't be my ideal choice, but I'm just going to show you there. Go ahead and have a seat on the front edge of that chair. Right. I need to scoot this guy back. Right. Whether that's a sheet or a towel or whatever, we can just scoot that way and get them back. Right. So having sheets or towels.
A draw sheet too sometimes.
A draw sheet. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that might actually even be better because I can see how like it wants to slip out, right?
Yeah.
So like I think a draw sheet you could definitely get underneath more.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. The cloth ones, not the paper things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly right. Yeah. So they can get their feet up. Right.
And what if their knee is like really stiff, what would you do to
like if they couldn't bend their knee?
Yeah.
Then you have hopefully they have a proper wheelchair that that the leg rest will come up. Right.
Oh, okay.
Right. So the leg rest would come up.
Because I've had some where I'm literally trying to help their knee bend a little bit so I can just get it up and especially if they're swollen because a lot of them they don't have enough exercise. Sure.
So. Well, and this isn't set up for you.
Right.
this wheelchair,
so high,
right? By any means isn't set for this body type, right? But so you have, and the other thing is that you can. Sometimes you can go, take this foot and hook that under this one.
Oh,
there you go. Now lift your leg up while I wheel you down the hallway.
Okay.
Right. So use your right leg to lift your left leg for me, Ryan. Can you do that? There you go. Good job. Well, I got the brakes on. Brakes off.
There
we go. Right. So you can get them to do, use their other leg to assist, right? All right, we're gonna move you onto this bed right here.
Interesting.
Okay. I would probably angle it even a little bit more like that. Get that brake on. These are stiff brakes.
Oh yeah.
Better stiff than loose.
Yeah.
Okay, you can relax your feet there. Good. We're going to just go onto here, and then we're going to have you come off with a walker. And I'll just show a couple things there. Okay. So again, we're going to just transfer him here. Now we're going to something higher, right? So we were at a chair that was about the same height. Now we have to go to something higher. It's actually easier, believe it or not, to go up to something a little bit higher, in my opinion.
Okay, then going down lower because you might miss it, or
yeah, because you can. This is going to kind of catch you before you fall over, right, or whatever.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is his weak side now,
Okay.
based on room logistics. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna have you scoot your butt forward. Good. We're gonna get this thing out of the way so it doesn't cause havoc for us. Gonna block you here and here. Okay. Then let's say you're a min assist again, right? You're gonna do. It's pretty easy for you, so I don't need to do a whole lot of work. Okay. On 3, you're gonna stand up. Right.
Okay.
We're gonna go 1, 2, 3. Squeeze that butt. Good. We're gonna turn. Good, and then get that butt back, right? So the closer you are, the better. So right there, I probably should have had him back up a little bit more before I had him sit down, right? So usually you want to make them get back until their thighs are touching or their leg is touching the chair before they sit, right? So you have that as well. Okay, we're gonna just do a quick little walker.
You can kind of control it by like pushing, like with your knee on their knee.
That's right. You can use your knee. You can use your body weight. A lot of times I'll be holding that gait belt. I'll just extend a couple fingers to tap their butt because that'll wake up their glutes, and they'll actually then use their hip extension more.
Yeah, I've also sometimes like grabbed like on either side, or just to help just suggest that they're pivot a little bit,
Yeah. You just give that little tactile input. That's exactly right. Yeah. So, going to a walker. Okay, this guy's capable of walking with a walker. He's pretty independent. But am I going to just let him get right here and jump on that walker? Right? Go ahead and get up on that walker.
Because
I'm going to put all their weight on that thing. Right? The walker might fall over. You know, who knows what? Right?
Yeah, I've definitely had that.
Yeah. So go ahead and sit back down. Again, you want to be. Right, that walker in there, as long as there's still some space for their feet. The other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to block the walker right there with this foot, right? And if I need to, I'm going to hold the walker, especially if they're pretty independent. I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to touch you. You can do it, right? I'm just going to put my hand here just in case, right? And let them do that. But that I'm here if they're like start to lose it, they don't feel afraid. Right? So now if you go ahead and push on that, right? So you lean forward, squeeze that butt. Right.
Yeah.
It's a little standby assist there, but now it's safe. Okay. Now I'm gonna release the walker. Okay. This is way too low for him. Right. I'm gonna release the walker so that you can step. Okay. Let's go ahead and walk that way. Right. Good. And then the walker can be a little bit out in front of you, but you just don't want to be all bent over, and you don't want the walker too far away from you. You're right. The idea is that you walk inside the walker. Right. It's a little different with this kind of walker now. Right, so when we're talking about a walker like this with 4 wheels, it doesn't have the stop capability of that other one, right? So then you need brakes, right? Some of them you have brakes that you can turn on, right? That you can pull the brake up and it'll click on, and some don't, or sometimes you get push them down. So on this particular one, it was pushing down, but look at how much I can move it even when the brakes are put on, right? So again, if we go, can we have that chair, Jerry? Just go for a chair without any arms real quick. And that'll be the last thing so you guys can finish up and get out of here.
I don't know if it's more or less stable like that way, because sometimes like if the wheels are pointed that direction.
That's right. So one of the other things, again, being aware, paying attention, is straighten out the wheels on the wheelchair and on the walker before you have them move, right? So if you go ahead and go in that chair with no arms. Okay, so when you have something with no arms, and they want to push off, can they push off of the chair certainly if they can. Otherwise, they may actually try to push off from the walker. And again, you have an unstable walker right here. So I'm going to do this, get this thing out of the way. All right, so walker, I'm going to get that in there. So for me personally, I usually will have them get up and get standing tall with me, and then I'll pull the walker around because then I know they're nice and stable. So it just depends on, again, on the person, what they're used to. If they've been independent and now they've just turned needing some caregiver around, they're going to want to try to do stuff. So again, it just depends on safety. So making sure those are on, making sure that the wheels are straight or that they're completely perpendicular.
Yeah.
Sometimes that'll help too, right? So whatever is better. But for me, I'm going to leave it like this because I'm going to block this wheel right here, right? And now I'm pretty far from him because of this kind of walker, right? So I can't be as close here. So this, again, this is where I'd rather transfer him up and then have the walker in front of me,
well,
right?
If it's like a, is it maximum assist or something?
Right, exactly. Is it max assist versus mod assist or min assist or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, Ryan, I'm going to have you scoot yourself forward to that front edge of that chair there, right? Okay, and again, we got a situation, and oftentimes it is, how many people don't have equipment fit for them at home? Most of them, because they borrowed something from, well, after Auntie Betty died, we just took her walker, or whatever, right? So you get stuff that isn't the right size. Okay, so again, this is pretty high for him to reach up, even for him sitting there, right? So if you go ahead and put your hands on there.
You can adjust these though, right?
That is true, yep. So, but for him to pull himself up now, instead of pushing himself up on the lower arms, now he's going to try and pull himself up, right? And if you try to put weight on there, that thing's going to tip.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're trying to pull themselves.
Right? Exactly. So again, this wouldn't be a situation that I would use. He doesn't have any arms on his chair. He's going to want to put his hands up there, and he doesn't have any leverage for that, right? So even if I'm blocking this, like even if you're you, right? You don't really need any assistance.
Yeah.
Get yourself up on this right now.
Like, oh, I see. Like I have to lean forward and
You do.
Like,
right? To be safe, right? So try and get up without that. Without leaning forward. Like just put your hands there and imagine that you got to stand up from there.
Yeah.
Right? Right. Right? And that was not being a patient, right? So just kind of being aware of that. So for something like this, and look again, brakes are on. Right? Brakes are on, it did its whole own thing, right? So just...
What was the first thing he did that worked? What was it you did the first time?
Oh, that was like when, at least if I had it, then I have to get up by myself. Like
you lean forward.
How far I'm leaning forward.
Bringing that weight over it.
If I'm leaning back and trying to...
Okay.
Right, he couldn't get his knees up, right?
My balance is back.
Yeah.
So that's why you could see like I'm pushing the chair almost back out of the way.
Yeah.
In order to...
Right. So then you just kind of do the same thing you would to transfer to another chair, right? You pull them up here, you pivot, let's pivot, right? And then you have now put one hand here, right? I'm going to step out and you put a hand there, right? So we can do that. Okay, so give me min assist, right? Just so that I don't have to work so hard.
Yeah,
right?
You got it. So, all right.
So we're going to block here. And I don't want you to hold on to that yet. Okay? So you're going to put your hands around me.
Okay.
Right? We're going to stand up, and then once you're up, we'll pivot. Okay? So you're going to go on 3. You're going to go 1, 2, 3. Right? He's up. Stand up nice and tall for me, Ryan. You got it. Use those glutes. Right? Okay, so now we're going to walk a little bit toward your right. So we're going to pivot. Nope. Turn toward your right. Turning. There you go.
Oh, I see.
Turn your foot. Nope, we're not sitting.
Oh.
We're going to walk with the walker. Turn to your right.
Oh, I see.
Turn. Good.
Put
Put your right hand on there. You got it. Now I'm going to hold it. Bring your left hand here.
Okay.
Good. You got a hold of it.
There we go.
Good. Take a step closer into the walker for me, please. Okay. Good. You feel like you got it okay?
There we go.
Good. Now we're going to release the brakes. And now you can go.
All right. Yeah.
Right. But even that, somebody that knows what they're doing, right? Like,
but yeah,
you got to do a lot of coaching and figure that out.
Then you're like, okay, like, again, if they want to do something, like for instance for me, I got it in my head that I was like, oh, I'm supposed to sit down on this. Like, it's like I'm transferring to like a wheelchair.
So again, action steps, right? To going through that, we're gonna walk with the walker. So we're gonna stand up. We're gonna pivot toward your right, and then you're gonna hold the walker, and then you're going to walk, right? So kind of giving those instructions a little bit ahead of time, right?
The pivot. Oh yeah, like you wanted me to get up and then I was going to turn right.
Correct.
So, okay. So
right. So, and I
that's
said,
good.
turn
Yeah.
right. That didn't work. Pivot right. That didn't work. Move your feet to the right. Right. Like it took a few
Just
tries
once.
to kind of get that
like
there.
what was going to make it
Right,
click?
right.
It's like,
So
oh,
and then
this is
once
what
you
we're
get to
doing.
know your person, you can get your routine down with that, but do
Yeah.
it every single time. Every single time, go through the steps because
Mhm.
you never know what they're going to be thinking of, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything else, Jerry, that you want me specifically to cover?
Was this helpful?
Yes,
Yes.
very much.
Okay.
Very much.
All right.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to leave it up to you guys. If anybody wants to play around, I know you have stuff to finish with your meeting. I'll take my belt back.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I'll let you figure out what else you might want to practice or do,
Oh, yeah.
and I don't want to keep you guys here late.
I was like, when you said like using this guy, how would you use this practically? Like,
Oh, that's a great question. So that situation where he couldn't bend his knee,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I can hook his foot in there, and you can have him hold his leg up while his other foot's on the stool,
Yeah.
right? So you can do that. These leg lifts are great when people are independent and they're like, oh, I want to lay down on the couch now, but I can't get the leg up. So you can either use the good leg. If they don't have a good leg, then you can use a strap. Rotate over, bring the leg up at a time, right?
Okay, nice.
So the straps are super useful for stuff like that. Sometimes you can use it again if they've got like they can't get their arm up or like whatever. So I just like these. I use these things for so many different things, right?
Okay, yeah.
And sometimes they can be helpful for. We didn't really get a chance to do any bed mobility today, but if they got to roll to their side to get up from the bed, a gate belt. Sometimes you can't get it on when they're in the bed, so sometimes you can slide something like this for that you can work until you get them
Okay.
sitting, right?
Yeah,
And then you can use a gate belt. So yeah, I'm a fan of the yoga strap. They're useful. They actually do make leg lift things now, like specifically for lifting a leg that's like this.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right.
yeah, there's tons of cool tools that are out there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love how you're just like, adapting and like you said, just put a trash bag on a
Yeah, yeah. Right, a 2x4, right, or a 2x, a piece of plywood. Yeah, exactly. So that's part of being an athletic trainer. You're a little MacGyver. You have to figure out what materials do I have here that I can use to tape this guy's leg so he can finish the football game. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna get out of the way so you guys can finish
Cool.
your stuff. Clean up my pleasure.
Yay! That was nice.
Okay.
They do like a whole class, like 8 hours.
Yeah.
Honestly, we could, right? All right, I think this is yours, Ryan. You can sit back in your chair there. Just in a new place. Come around the edge, out of your way.
Sure. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Awesome. You're hungry? Well, get up and get something to eat. Okay. I'm gonna eat all the food, so we better. No, I'm
No,
sorry.
we're good. We're competing
All right.
for that.
So, does everybody remember this?
Yep.
Okay. So I do have to cover some boundaries. And Jerry says I'm the boss, so I have to bring the bad news. It's not really bad news, but there are a couple of things that came up this year that really drove a review of our boundaries. Is we've lost a couple clients due to inappropriate boundary crossings. And some of them were very blatant and we didn't know they were going on until it was too late. And we had to just do damage control. So anyway, I'm the guy that always gets called for damage control. And I try to help alleviate any issues that happen with our clients and all that too. But our boundaries are very, very good to have because if they get blurred or crossed, that's when you can be taken advantage of and also the client can be taken advantage of. So just a couple really quick ones to remember. Do not give your cell phone to your client. Okay? The reason for that is when you give your cell phone, you think, oh, I'm just going to help them out. I'm going to call them and help schedule my schedule or whatever. That's actually diverting away from the office and we have no idea what's going on. And then we lose a client and then they're yelling at me because the client was calling out to the caregiver. And I'm sorry, the caregiver was calling out to the client. And the client shouldn't know your woes, shouldn't know your financial woes or your family, issues or whatever's going on in your life. They shouldn't even know about it, because you should separate that being professional to the client. I had a client call me once and was screaming at me because she couldn't believe how the caregiver's boyfriend had all these issues, and I'm sick and tired of the caregiver calling in sick to me, and that should have never, ever, ever happened, because the caregiver should call in sick to the office. And so that's just a huge boundary that we need to really hold and take accountability for, because it just protects everybody. If there's actually issues going on, we want you guys to have that open door policy. Say, hey, I've got an issue, I need to reschedule, and then we will work our best to reschedule everything, get somebody else to cover for you, and work some things out if possible. When it happens that we don't know about it, that's when everything blows up, and then we really are taken back, and we just want to reiterate those. So and that's about it on the detail of if you want to read your caregiver handbook, if you still have it, page 17 goes over all these things again. It's about not giving them your personal detail, your personal issues. You're there to help them during that day. The second thing is when you go to a client's home and you're there to take care of them, you want to make sure you follow the care plan that's on WellSky and not deviate from that or modify it or change it or say, I think this is a better idea because I saw my grandfather, he had this, so I think I'm an expert in it, and I think this person needs this medication. Oh my gosh, way wrong. We don't offer meds. We don't offer suggestions to the client. If you have a suggestion for a change or something, come to us and say, hey, I need to figure out this. I really see this guy struggling with this wheelchair or whatever have you, but not to make that decision on your own, because it leaves everybody in a liability state that's really, 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 it's bad for all parties, actually. So you wrote value and purpose.
Yeah, I can go over stuff like that. I have ideas for that.
Okay.
So.
And then as far as client confidentiality with their care plan, so we have in our policies that we don't share that. We don't, everything that's in WellSky is HIPAA related. Just remember that. And then if you're reviewing it, just make sure that you're always there to protect the client. And if you see financial exploitation that's going on within family members, and you think that they're taking advantage of their mom or their dad or something, that's when you want to make a call to the office. Don't act upon that. Don't get involved. Don't get in the middle. It's not your place. And you're just the observer, and you're just following the care plan. And that's the only thing we can really iterate about what things that will protect not only from lawsuits, but from just losing clients and having hurt feelings and things like that. And that's basically it. So any questions? Did I cover everything?
Yeah, I think so. You're trying to encapsulate 2 hours worth of client drama in 5 minutes. So you don't even understand all the details, and you don't need to know. That's okay. My job to know. But it is your job to be the face, the eyes, and the ears for a company, but not to make determinations of what needs to happen for our client. So that's my job, to mitigate those kinds of things. So please be very courteous in that regard and not make those decisions on your own.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all that was. Okay, so a couple things of value purpose for the new year. We're going to really work on our culture here. I haven't known what to do with culture, so I'm going to be working on that. We're going to work on shout outs. If you have a shout out, like you come into a client and the other caregiver did a fabulous job and you want to shout out, you're not going to exchange cell phone numbers unless you so desire to do fun things outside of work. That's totally fine. I'm not going to dictate that. But if you have a shout out for the previous caregiver, then just let me know and I'll put it in our touch points that I've been sharing with you. We do have a desire to know what you think about our company. So if you have any feedback, bring us, there's some pens up here. We'd love to have your feedback. If you have any ideas for us in the new year that you would like to see, you are our eyes and ears. So we would love to have that. We would also love to have you do a review for us. So if you can take a card and do that for us, that would be so beneficial. Today we got a call from Google. It does make a difference. So please do that for us. Okay. Does anybody know what our tagline is for Touching Hearts at Home? We are so grateful for each one of you. You are the, anybody know?
The best.
Yeah, I know, Kim. You are the best. Does anybody know our tagline? Okay. Anybody? We are the heart of home care. So do this, everybody, real quick. You're this out in the community, both for yourself and, no, that's a sentence. The heart of home care.
Okay, see?
Yeah.
If that was specified, I might have been able to.
Oh, there's that. Yeah. So,
I'm out here stalling for a little.
yeah, heart's 5, right? If you're a Wordle fan, for sure. Anyways, but I just want to let you know that I am so grateful for each one of you. You're so important to everything that we do. You're our eyes and ears. But more than that, I just see you as like hands of God. And thank you so much for doing that for us. I do have little token gifts. If you want to fill out an employee data sheet, so if we do little gifts or something through the year, I can get something that you really like as opposed to all the things I usually do. I do have a sign-in sheet. I will be doing that attendance each time just to keep track. And then I'm going to start accumulating contact hours. So by the end of the year, you'll have literal contact hours. We in the state do not need a license to do what you do. But if someday the state goes, I need so-and-so to get a license, I'll go, look how many CEs they already have. And you could qualify for a license. We don't know what's going to happen. So I'm always thinking as an educator. And as an educator, I really value education. If you want me to bring something to you, I have an expert in dementia care. I will probably be bringing her in the new year. Some of the meetings might be 30 minutes. Some meetings might be an hour and a half. Today's going a little bit long because this is so valuable. If you want to stay after and do this, that's great. I'm going to gift both of you for the treat that I have. You can share it. And then, so I'll make sure that I keep communicating